You're here. Hi.
Thank goodness I didn't know if it was going to happen. I'm not
Very
very good
good.
on, computers or anything like that, really. So I was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to happen, but I'm glad that it did. So here we
Well,
are.
considering the phone is never out of your hand, Rebecca, I was panicking there. I thought you'd have more mod con know-how than I would.
I know,
But
but
come here, tell us this. Hi, everybody who's watching in. Sorry, we were panicky there because we thought Rebecca wouldn't be able to get on due to technical difficulties, but we got
technical
there. So
difficulties.
our guest tonight on MI Live is the most fabulous Rebecca Maguire, who was Miss Ireland in 2012,
I know.
who was in Miss Ireland in 2011, who was first runner-up that year, and then came back and won the bloody thing, fabuloso. And then in that year, Rebecca, you got to go to a wonderful, mystical place that not many people would go to. And you
No.
went there for Miss World, and you were there for 6 weeks. Where was it you got to go?
So we had originally traveled to China and Mongolia. So obviously a trip of a lifetime,
Yeah.
when would you ever say I'm going to get to travel around China and Mongolia and have like an experience like no other? I dare say no one will be traveling for a good while and
Yeah.
possibly
I'd
not.
say, just explain to people, so Mongolia is almost like between Russia
Yeah,
and China. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's vast land
Oh,
of, it's a place of wonder that nobody knows much about. And what I can remember when you were there, like it was 6 weeks you were there for,
yeah.
and you
Well,
had to
just
have like
over
a
about
double
7 weeks.
entry visa, 7 weeks. So you had to have a double entry visa to get to leave, to go back into China, to go back to Mongolia. But then what I can remember was the stage setup you had there was phenomenal, as
Oh
far
my
as I
God, it
remember.
was amazing. The stage was absolutely incredible. When I first walked onto the stage, because you've never been in the country before, the culture is so different. Everything is so different. So you would drive across hours, like in this big, huge Miss World tour bus, and then you would arrive at this like huge, crazy stadium, like the biggest stadium that you've ever seen, and you just think, like this is literally built up out of nowhere. There was
Yeah,
it's just huge. In Ireland you're always passing things as you're
yeah,
driving. You can always see a house and you can always see this was just like vast land and then this huge stadium. But in Asia, in Mongolia, in China, Miss World is huge. It's the
yeah.
biggest deal. It's
They're like
like
superstars.
you're like superstars. It's like X Factor in its heyday here.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who you are. There's like trails of people, will follow the bus. It has a huge fan base in China, in Asia, in other countries like Venezuela, South American countries. The girls there, once you win, the Miss Venezuela or the Miss China, you are literally a superstar there. It's such
It's
a
amazing.
huge deal in those countries.
And
So
tell me this, Rebecca, when you were over there, and you were, like, I remember one thing was the stage. They had this, all I could say was probably the size of Crow Park,
yeah, it was huge.
stage-wise, Spice Girl stage. But they had like this LED plane that came in, and
Yeah,
then you all came off the plane.
yeah,
It
so
was
pretty.
phenomenal
It was
the way they
amazing.
did the stage
This
setup. It
the
was like a
setup was
Eurovision
so
set.
good. The setup was
Yeah,
so
it
good,
was out of
and
this world.
obviously,
And then tell us about the top model there as well that year when you were there. And I think you made it to the top 10, and the big designer and all the rest was like, oh my God, this Ireland girl model, top model. Tell us a bit about that story.
yeah. So I got to the top model section in Miss World, which was a huge. Well, to be honest, it was just even a huge achievement for me to be in Miss Ireland. Okay, and then to come first runner up the first year, and then to win. That was like the biggest achievement to me. So going to Miss World was just a bonus, and anything after that for me just a bonus because I was just so happy to be there. So to be in the top
Yeah.
model, I was like, I literally can't believe this is happening to me. It was such a huge thing for me at the time. So yeah, I was top 10 in the top model.
And I remember the dress you had that year as well. This was your main dress that you wore for top model, and then you wore for the grand final,
Yeah,
which was a beautiful red dress with all the embellishment of gold, sequin and all going through, which was the designer was Dawn, wasn't it? Dawn
yeah,
Fitzgerald.
So Dawn Fitzgerald is an Irish designer. She actually met up with me on several occasions, and we kind of got to design it together. I told her the kind of thing that I wanted. I still have it in my wardrobe, and I'll literally have it forever. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's a stunning
it's a
dress. Yeah.
special dress, and every now and again it'll get pulled out of the closet. I'll be like, "Do you want to see my Miss World dress?" You know.
Yes. And
So
can you tell me this? So with all that, so then obviously you did all the Miss World, the Miss Ireland, all that bit. So then obviously you had your year, and then you went back to college.
yes, so I
So
went back
talking about that.
to college, university. I studied in Queen's for 2 years and then went on to the Miss Ireland. Took a year out and went back and finished my degree. So I have a master's degree in pharmacy. So that leads me up until this point where I work as a pharmacist now. So I am working on the front line at the minute.
And how are you finding
Delivering.
that at the moment in the current times working as a pharmacist? Do you see a huge difference in the way things are? Obviously huge, but like for the likes of you, because obviously you will be behind the scenes when it comes to a pharmacist, but you'll be heavily involved in ish dispense and stuff and that. So
Mhm.
what sort of difference are you seeing?
Yeah, so essentially when everything happened, which was like kind of around St. Patrick's Day, like March, um, it was a huge shock to the system. You know, no one knew what was going to happen. Like no one knew what was going to happen. And honestly, it's the scariest time of my life, and the most challenging time in my career because everything just happened, you know, and it was suddenly all of the barriers put in place, all of the PPE came, you know. Bear in mind that, you know, there was no crash course in how to deal with a pandemic, and we
Mm-hmm.
were front line, and you know, I never really thought about myself. It was more about other people, more about my family. So I was working so much harder than I've ever had to work before just because of the pressures that were placed on everyone front line. My partner's a doctor in A&E. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we're both coming back to our house that we have. I'm worried that we're going to infect each other and
Yeah.
infect our patients.
And you were
Now,
telling me like
obviously,
I remember you were telling me there about the routine that he has every
mhm,
night when he comes back from the hospital. You were telling me that he
mhm,
comes straight in,
mhm.
all the clothes he's wearing straight, and then takes a shower.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me what procedure you have set in place in your home.
Mhm. Yeah, well, essentially, when it had at first happened, you know, no one knew too much about how contagious it was. Were we going to infect each other? Were we going to get sick? What was going to happen? We were just saying, what happens when we get sick? You know, we were just
Mm-hmm.
like definitely going to contract this. Um, so basically, he was in A&E, obviously full PPE, all of the gear. Like his face would be marked from all of the goggles and masks and
Mm-hmm.
things. So it was pretty scary. He was changing at the hospital, showering, and then like showering again when he came home, and everything. It was, you know, like my washing machine didn't stop,
Yeah.
constantly washing everything. Me as well, even when we were in work, we were wearing PPE, but not the same extent as any doctors.
Yeah.
Um, because we had screens and stuff up put in place in work, and we were very lucky. Like my boss in pharmacy was on the ball and had everything sorted straight away. But I did notice that other pharmacy chains didn't necessarily have that in place straight away. So,
Mm-hmm.
no concern for your friends or other colleagues who you've worked with before. But thankfully, I did feel very protected. But I was still going to work every day, very afraid. You know,
Yeah.
it was the
Well,
unexpected.
yeah. Well, therefore you would be in the line of fire, as they'd say, because people are
Yeah.
coming there to pick up their prescriptions. They could
Mhm.
have some form of the virus. They
Mhm.
don't even know they have the
Yeah.
virus and stuff
Well,
like
this
that.
is.
Especially in the early days when where they weren't getting the diagnostics tests
Mhm.
done
Yeah.
quicker like what they are now.
Well, this is the thing about pharmacy. You know, the pharmacy is the first port of call for sick people.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't get an appointment with your GP, or you don't think that you're sick enough to go to any, you know, with something that would be a bit more serious, people were always coming into the pharmacy. And one of the main things that I would deal with in the pharmacy and would chat to people about and would treat people with is coughs, having a high temperature, having a sore throat, you know, and then these suddenly all became the main symptoms of coronavirus.
Yeah.
And, you know, anyone with a cough or anyone with, you know, any kind of temperature, we were all like, oh my goodness, right, you know, everything is just went from, the new normal. And I hate the phrase new normal because I hope that it doesn't stay like this.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that
You'd
it's
like to
not
get
the
back
new,
to old normal.
I hope that it's not the new normal, but things will change inevitably for a long time. But I want to get back to the relationship that I used to be able to have with my patients, where I could examine them, I could stand within 2 meters of them, and, you know, give them that care that we would in the pharmacy. And the thing is, like, everyone took their previous life for granted,
Yeah.
including myself, and everything's
But if
just
you think
changed
about
now.
it, but before this all broke out, you were in Paris, swanning around, getting your pictures taken.
Oh my God.
And
Like, literally a couple of weeks before this all happened, I was in Paris with one of my best friends, Emmett. He's also, well, I trained with Emmett. He was a pharmacist, and he's then went on to be a doctor. But he actually works as a pharmacist still currently in Dublin for McKay's Pharmacy. So if anyone knows Emmett, they'll know who I'm talking about, because he just lights up the room. He's fabulous. You know, he's one of my favorite people ever. So if you're ever in McKay's and you meet someone called Emmett, you'll know who I'm talking about. But yeah, we
you would
went
just
to
go and say, hey, you're Rebecca's favorite person in the world.
favorite person. So yeah, we met when we were both training actually as junior pharmacists, and we've just been friends ever since. It's like that scene in Step Brothers, and we're like, did we just become best friends? Yeah. Do you know, just like when two people suddenly click. So we went to
I hope he's
Paris.
watching tonight, Rebecca.
I hope he is watching tonight.
All the
I'm
open you're
giving
giving
his
him there.
praises. One of my other best friends works for Ralph and Russo, which is a huge couture brand. I've actually loved their stuff for years, but never ever been able to afford it because it's so couture. But basically, we had been invited to the show, and I went last season as well, and it was amazing. You know, it's the highlight of my year, and I'm so lucky that I did get to go, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to travel for a long time.
Well, I think
So basically,
Paris probably was the last of the fashion weeks, was it? Because after that, then
mhm.
kaput, no more.
Well, when we were in Paris, the day that we left, the day after that we left, the Louvre had been shut. They shut the
Yeah,
Louvre for, you know, a suspected coronavirus case, and it was the reality of it hadn't hit me personally yet,
yeah.
but I don't think it had hit most people, you know, the severity of the situation. But I'm so thankful I got to go, and I'm so thankful I got to experience that, because, you know, this new normal, will there ever be another Paris Fashion Week? Will there ever be a room full of more than 1,000 people again? Who knows? In a public setting,
Yeah.
I don't know, and no one really knows that. But what I could probably say for to be certain is that it's not going to happen for a long time. So that's what I'm saying. We took these things for granted. Well, I didn't take that for granted, because it was an amazing once in a lifetime experience. But what we're saying is, you know, the things that we did before, it's going to change for a long time. So I'm just so thankful
And
that I got to go and experience it.
you got to experience something nice before you got into work. And tell me, Rebecca, you were doing a lot of stuff with the BBC up there in
Yes.
Northern Ireland. To give us a little insight into that. What was all that about?
So basically, well, it's all stemmed from Miss Ireland, really. Um,
There
you
you
know,
go.
it was all stemmed from Miss Ireland. So yeah, essentially, I was approached. Now, I was working obviously as a pharmacist at the time. So, in terms of being an online personality, in terms of doing the whole blogger thing, modeling has really changed into online, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Girls who were models, who were very successful models before, have moved that onto Instagram. Um,
Yes.
and you can make a career out of it, like you can make a living out of it. But for
Well, even if
me,
you think about it, Rebecca, when you won, I don't even think there was Instagram.
no, there wasn't Instagram when I won.
There was Facebook. Bebo had been forgotten, and then it was all Facebook. But then
Yeah,
that was it, really.
but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same kind of way. Like, see now in the lockdown, it's a great opportunity for people to push themselves on Instagram. And the thing is, healthcare professionals are the new Instagram stars. You know, you
Yeah,
see a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses upcoming, but at the same time, you do actually have to be really careful on what you post because you still are professional. But that's a whole different
yeah.
story. Um,
Hmm.
Basically, when I started, yeah, there was no Instagram. So throughout the years, it's been difficult for me personally to try and balance my work life, which is super intense anyway. But I always kind of dip my toe in the water, like still kind of
Yeah.
cat current, still got big
Because I
football.
remember, like, even when you, after, like, in your first year or so after you qualified, I remember you're still juggling the modeling world with
Mm,
the pharmacy work and stuff like
mm,
that. And
yeah,
then with that, then you're also then trying to juggle the modeling world, the pharmacy world, and then obviously then your TV presenting world as well, which
mm.
totally came out
Yeah.
of nowhere, you
I
could
suppose
say,
it was
that you
it
weren't
was
expecting
just
to get involved in that again.
it was a case of um being in the right place at the right time and just years of making contacts with people.
Hmm.
So I was approached by a girl who actually used to train me in the gym, and she was like, I've got this new job and we're creating things with a TV company called Stellify, who are huge now. They actually, well, the most recent things that they've done is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Jeremy Clarkson. Like, they're huge, and it was a startup company in Northern Ireland. And the girl Maeve, who I'd known for ages, she was like, I want to do this TV program and I want to do it about dating, and I want you to be in it. And I was like, right, okay. So the whole concept came, and it was Beauty Queen and Single, which was great at the time because I was single and it was so much fun. So it was myself, Orla McAllister, who would be quite well known from Big Brother, Ashley
Hmm.
Coyle, who was runner up in Big Brother, who was also in Miss
It was
Ireland.
also it was also in this art
Yeah,
competition,
yeah. Amir Graham, who was also
also
in
in the
Miss
medallion
Ireland.
competition.
Yeah, so and Karen as well. Now she had never been in Miss Ireland, but she had won a title in the UK.
Yeah.
So you know what? It was so much fun. I didn't find love. I didn't find love on it, but it was such a great platform, which kind of pushed me into another realm. Not as if I had enough things going on of TV. So then from that, we did our own show, and it was called Hot Right Now. And we filmed that last year, and it was on the BBC with Vinnie Hurl. And it was like a presenter show.
Hmm.
Um, and it was so much fun. So, that has really opened up lots of different doors for me. It got me a blue tick on Instagram, which is good
I'm
too.
loving seeing all the girls. I love
I
seeing
was
all
all
the
about
former
the blue
Irons with
tick.
their blue
I'm like,
ticks.
give me the blue tick. So it was really cool to be verified. People probably see me and go, why the hell is she verified? But I am. So there you go. Um, because yeah, that's the thing, um, like people think people who are on Instagram like as jobs as such, people who make their careers out of Instagram, they go, that's easy. I'm telling you now, it is not easy. There's so much time, so much effort goes into like posting on Instagram, creating content, working with brands. And I have been really lucky to work with some amazing brands. Over the past couple of years, I got to work with Coca-Cola, like
Yeah,
one of the biggest brands ever. Some really amazing like clothing companies, modeling, not just ones that are based in Ireland, all over the world. And they've worked with me as a influencer, which is really
yeah.
flattering to me because when people are like, are you a blogger, are you an influencer? And I'm like, no, I'm a pharmacist. But everyone has their own
Niche.
appeal and niche, and
And their own
you know,
audience as well. Like, it's like even
yeah,
all the girls in Miss Ireland winners, you all have a different audience. Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because
I
every
know,
year changes, different people
yeah,
follow different people.
exactly. Like I know if I had more time on my hands, I also have my own business, by the way. I knew if I had more time on my hands, you would be able to develop that. But, sometimes, like for instance, now in a global pandemic, my main focus is on patients and that career, But who's to say, in 5 years' time, I might go a completely different direction,
Hmm.
and that's the beauty
But
of,
they're always evolving. They're always changing and
well,
evolving
that's it.
with your career and
But
stuff.
that's the beauty of having such a good platform. You know,
Yeah.
you could still come back and work in these different, whether it's TV or modeling or whatever. I probably need to lose about half a stone because I've been eating a lot and drinking lots of wine in this quarantine period. But you could still go back, and the world is your oyster, and that's why I am so like proud of being a former Miss Ireland. Like, it just opened up so many doors for me, so
And
many
tell us,
amazing opportunities.
the last store we're going to talk about is that you started your own clinic. So tell us this.
Yes, okay. So I have my own aesthetics clinic. So another perk of being a healthcare professional. My partner's also a doctor. He has
Mm-hmm.
been a doctor for over 10 years. So, I love aesthetics. Like, I think it's amazing. I love my injectables. I think, I have had plastic
Well, in
surgery.
moderation, I would not say as well.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say it. I love getting my Botox done. I like, I can see such
Now,
an amazing change.
now I know you obviously you would see a lot of people getting work done. Now, would you obviously give advice to somebody as well if they're very young and that maybe they might be too young to start getting
Oh yeah,
stuff
totally.
done?
Well, any good provider, any good practitioner, you will be given a consultation first by a doctor,
Yeah.
and they will deem whether it's appropriate for you to have that treatment or not. And I have
Mm-hmm.
turned people away before from our clinic and says, look, you know, go in, think about it, or I think, your concerns, if they're too young, you have to judge that, and it's
Yeah,
professional.
I think what they're doing is they're watching a lot of these girls on social media, and
Yeah.
yes, I agree with some getting it done, but then I see others getting done at very young. I'm totally not really down with that if you're too young, or if the lips are about to explode,
Mhm. Well,
or
the part
if
of
you
it is,
start seeing them morphing into this face is not theirs. Like
the
you look
part
at
of
your face,
having,
Rebecca, and you'd say you've had no work done. Do you know what I mean?
well,
Because
this
it's
is it.
very natural.
It's the whole thing about aesthetics is not to change people; it's to enhance what you
Yeah,
naturally have. That's my ethos anyway. And sorry,
yeah,
it was low battery, but we're still on 20%, so we're good. If someone came to me and said, "Look, I want these lips as such, I want to look like this," I'll be like, "Sorry, I can't do anything for you," you
yeah.
know, because you have to be really careful, And what I would say to like young women out there as well is, it's like, be careful with your face. Go to someone
Yeah.
who's trusted. Go to someone who, has experience. Go to someone who can show you like previous results, and do your research as well. There's some people
Because you
who
will get people
love
out
to
there who
have
will just take the money.
there's some people who love to have like real exaggerated features, and that's fine, because it all comes down to choice. It's
Yeah.
your choice whether you want to have any cosmetic procedure done. And some people might turn around and say, "Oh, you had cosmetic surgery. I don't agree with that." Well, that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
because it's that own person's choice at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you can't really criticize people, because people have different tastes. But it all comes down to being a professional, and giving people
Well,
advice. Like, part of
it's
a
down to like
consultation is
it's
giving
down to
people
like obviously
advice.
you're coming from a whole different background as well. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? So you're obviously coming from the medical side of things when people are
Hmm.
coming to you as a client, which
Yeah.
in one way is a very good safety blanket as well. And
Hmm.
it's more security for the client coming in.
Hmm.
That you're not coming from, oh, I've just done makeup for 10 years and then I just went
Hmm.
in there to do the Botox in the back street.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, you have to have a medical background, a doctor, nurse, pharmacist, to do these things. I think personally, because there's so much risk, you know, uh, things can go wrong, and that's why I'm so happy to set up in my clinic, because I work with my partner who's an A&E doctor.
Yeah.
You're in safe hands. So, um, if like patient safety is always number one priority in any medic's mind. That's the number one rule. You know, it's patient safety and patient care. And if you can't offer that, then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. And tell us this, what's the name of the clinic?
Well, there is no name. People are just like, Rebecca.
I'm going to get your face done by Rebecca.
Yeah, I suppose we don't have a clinic. I mean, we were just really starting up before this all happened, the whole lockdown situation. So we haven't been practicing because we don't think that it's safe yet. But once everything gets up and running, we're actually doing, we'll have a pharmacist, and we have been getting work done to that. So hopefully there'll be a launch and, you know, kind of official opening once this all.
Official opening, say we're here.
Exactly. But we are, we're just so busy at the minute. Just so busy at the minute working like front line. So obviously I live with my boyfriend. I don't see him some days because we're, you know, passing shifts, like if he's night shifts, and it's completely relentless. So, you know, I would definitely say that when this kind of lockdown eases up and hopefully that we can travel, there'll be good holidays on the horizon. Because definitely
there you go, with the sun in your bones. But not that we need to worry about sun at the moment, we get fantastic weather. Right, to finish off, we're going to have a little game, okay?
Oh, right, okay. Can I drink my wine?
You'll need it. Okay, you ready? So this is my faves, okay?
My faves?
I'm gonna call them out, so it could be your favorite. Your favorite. You get me? Okay. So you answer the questions. You have 30 seconds to do it. Oh yes. You ready?
Okay.
Here we go. I'm gonna call them out. Quick answers. 5 and go. Song.
J-Lo.
Destination.
Oh, destination. I love Paris. It's my favorite.
Inspiring person. Inspiration person.
Michelle Obama.
Celebrity crush.
Tom Jones.
TV show.
I know, he's really old. I love Tom Jones.
TV show.
I love Power on Next. Power, spelled P-O-W-E-R, because I say it weird in Northern Irish accent.
Right, let's see how many you got.
5, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same as Lauren, so Eve O'Sullivan is still in the lead with 6.
No, I had to actually spell out the TV show Power because people probably might not understand it in the accent, especially if you're from outside Belfast. P-O-W-E-R.
Well, I'll give you one more then to just spell that one. Here we go. I'll give you one more to see if you get it. Movie.
Okay. Movie. Step Brothers.
Random. Anyway, the Tom Jones, we'll leave that one there with you.
No,
it's not unusual though.
No, well, I tell you what, I was meant to go and see Tom Jones like bank holiday weekend in Belfast, and I love Tom Jones. It's like celebrity crush, and I don't know what age is he? Is he like 80?
I don't know. I don't really have a crush on him.
Well, I don't know. It was just the first one that popped up in my head. I'm sure there's loads more, you know, like Tom Hardy.
But listen, Rebecca, I'm going to let you go and enjoy your glass of wine. Okay? Thanks a million for going live with us tonight. And see you all next week, everybody. See you, Rebecca. Bye.